I think there's a lot of attention given to the negative impacts of having the phones. But at the same time, it's like, I'm a big technology guy. All that stuff is like, I think is so useful. So there's a positive and a negative to how it can be used if it's used properly. Have you watched any of the Olympics at all?
Nope.
Nothing?
I don't care. I don't care.
I'm not even just saying hockey.
No,
just
nothing.
like in general.
No.
You haven't had it on at all?
No, I don't have cable. I don't have cable.
So I forgot.
I don't know how to turn my TV on properly.
I forgot that it was starting. So I was making dinner on, I forget if it was Sunday or whatever with my Christine. And she reminded me that it started. So she put it on just in the background while we were making food. And it was like the highlights channel or whatever, where they like just roll through it like and fast forward of just like the key moments. So I was looping through, the first one was skiing, I think. And like, man, some of these sports are actually kind of sick. Like paying attention to it. My favorite is gymnastics, Summer Olympics sport. So cool. But my favorite is gymnastics, summer.
Gymnastics.
I think it's crazy, the stuff that they can do. But I do like watching the skiing stuff. I was watching them where they go down. It's like the big hill with the ramps and they're doing jumps and spins and all this stuff. And man, like what? How did you figure that out?
It's I appreciate every sport, right? Because there's intricacies to everything. Like you get to look at golf and you could say, well, everyone golfs. Most people golf. I don't really. People could look at the sport itself and say, well, it's not even hard. Yeah. Like, I mean, that's very flippant with that remark, but like, it doesn't seem like the skill of golfing and hitting a ball in a hole, putting, would be that hard. It's the mental side and it's all the other stuff, right? Until you do it, you can't even appreciate it, and especially under pressure. And then you throw a baseball, right? Like, or playing third base, whatever it is. When you're sitting out in the stands and you're watching from far out or TV, it looks like, well, yeah, I should catch the ball every time and throw it to first. And really, when you're an athlete, when you get a line drive, like I played third base and short when I played baseball, and I used to get really upset when guys couldn't catch a ball, like a hard ground ball, because you should be able to. That's just it's like catching a pass in hockey, but and you would think, okay, well, if you get ground balls hammered to you every day and you throw it to first or second, like how could you ever miss? And like as a professional, that's right, but to get to that level is absolutely ridiculous, right? Yeah. And you look at it, gymnastics and all that stuff. Like there's so much that goes into it. So appreciating a sport is amazing.
Crazy. It's crazy how young they are too. Like that's the biggest difference between like elite level professional athletes and like if you're the best in if you're like, let's say you're the best at what you do, sports or otherwise. Sports is like the only profession where you're at your best when you're that young. Like any other field that you'd be in.
Not every sport though.
Not every sport. Well, most sports, that's like the basically 20 to 35.
Oh, okay. I thought you were talking like, because the gymnasts are young.
Right. So, but let's say like the average for professional athletes is like 20 to 35.
You're old at 30.
If you're expert level at anything else, it's probably like 45 to 60, right? Or like the experience drives a lot more of the expertise and everything else except for sports. So even like the Super Bowl on the weekend, the I don't know football, but the New England quarterback, Drake May, is that his name?
I don't know. I watched about 4 minutes of football this year.
He's 23, right? 23 years old in the Super Bowl. And it's like, holy, that's like...
It's a young person.
And I think now that I'm getting older...
Well, right? That's the thing.
I'm starting to think, right? I'm starting to think like, I'm 31 and I'm looking at the best of the best, you know, Celebrini, like these kids that are coming up, and it's like, you are so young. It's actually crazy. Never really thought that while I was going through it, but now that I'm looking at it, I'm like, it's pretty wild, like how young the athletes are. Watching them at the Olympics and all this stuff, like it's pretty crazy to see.
20 years old with $1 million,
right?
$1 million, but like
right.
$1 million or a couple $1 million in the bank.
But it's actually
like you don't even have a clue.
No clue, right?
But what a start!
Well, and that kind of segues me into my topic.
Can I just finish?
There you go.
I love sports. no, no.
That's the end of the comment.
Yeah, I love sports. I love sports, man. Um, I love it. So it's funny because when you look at when people watch and they're cheering like as fans, and they just say like you hear the fan in hockey say shoot or hit him or dog, you can't turn it over, with zero respect for how fast, how hard, how things move in people's minds. Like when you even remove yourself, like let's say a normal person goes to, not normal person, the average person that goes to a game, if they're buying tickets, I'm talking average person, where are they sitting in an NHL game, or yeah, let's say an NHL game? They're probably like fairly high up. If you're the average guy and the game looks like, okay, it looks like it looks. And then you go down, like even go 10 rows down, and it starts to look a little faster, and then you start seeing, oh my god, these are big boys. So like even when I watch OHL hockey, like I watch it all the time. That's why I don't watch Olympics. Actually, I won't watch it this week because I'm going to watch tonight. It's Guelph in London, maybe, or Guelph and Niagara, whatever it is. And then like that's what I watch. I love watching it. And but you look at, people are shocked when they come out. Like, oh, that's a big kid. Like my kid's 6'2", 200 pounds, a little bit more heavier than 200 pounds. He's a monster. He just turned 20.
I thought that about Miedema on your team.
He is
like you watch from
yeah, that's what I mean.
And you can't tell how big he
No.
is. And then off the ice, I'm like, this guy is 6'4". He's massive.
Okay,
He's
so
a huge man.
Did I tell you that when was it Charlie's birthday? I think it was, or when he knew he was getting traded. I think it was his birthday. So December 6th, we were in Guelph. They had the day off, and my wife, nicest woman in the world. What I love. No, this is great. I love these kids. Anyways, said Charlie, invite whoever you want. Take them out for your birthday night before the game.
Me.
So, anyways, it was Ethan Miedema, Grant Spada, Parker Snellgrove, Rowan Top, Charlie Paquette, and Hunter McKenzie. Hunter McKenzie and Snellgrove are 6 feet tall. Charlie's 6'2". So if Charlie and Rowan Top walk into anywhere, unless the WrestleMania maybe, but like we walk into any room, it's like they're pretty.
Those are big men,
intimidating humans. Well, we're standing waiting for our table, and Miedema is 6 foot. He's listed at 6'4". No way.
Like you think he's bigger?
Oh, 100%.
Really? Eh?
100%. Closer to 6'5", and Spada's like 6'6", 6'7". So we're waiting, and I'm going. My son and him and Top are basically the same size, 6'2", 205.
Big guys.
Yeah, big asses, big, and they look like
small.
Just they look small to these
average.
Two guys.
Yeah.
So people don't appreciate the size, the strength. Like when the boys work out, right? They're moving weight, and speed.
So every now and then, like the boys like to wrestle. So the one day I was wrestling, like earlier in the year, like that kid's strong.
Oh yeah,
dude.
he's a tank.
That kid is strong. So like when we're like just like you get a grip, and it's like whoa, like there's power coming through these kids, right? And so that's what's interesting though, is because they're so young, they have so much strength, so much power, so much of all these tools, so much potential, and then they're put into these positions where it's like they're treated like, professionals, like they're expected to make mature, good decisions all the time, and get their sleep and do their recovery and it's like they're kids, man. Like they're young, like they're so young. It's hard to grasp, but like those are the expectations, which is kind of wild. It's pretty wild.
How about I'm allowed to say their name, eh?
I can.
Yeah, okay. No, but it's fine. It's a compliment. So in our team, he's a 6'1" defenseman. What a unit,
dude. Unit.
Like I've been around a lot of big, strong people, like impressive people. So he's 16 now or 15?
Yeah, he's U16. So
he is legit 6'1". He walked by yesterday, and I poked him. I go, "You're so thick."
Yeah, solid.
But it's thick. If you peeled the fat off, his 200 pounds would probably go to 197.
Yeah.
Lean, strong unit. Like he's as big as, not as any D in the OHL, but like his frame, how solid he is and how strong he is, he's good to go. Wow.
Yeah, it is. It's pretty crazy, man.
Like thick dude everywhere, like, and shredded.
Yeah.
Incredible.
Yeah, it's cool. It's cool to see, man.
So strong.
So I think that kind of does actually segue me into the conversation because I think it does. It does because I think the I was so I'll back it up. So I wanted to talk about cell phones today because I've noticed um, a few different examples, a few different times that cell phones can become a problem, right? Yeah. And I don't think that's like news to anybody necessarily, but I went on the bus ride, for example, with us because on our team we take the bus everywhere. Yeah. We're getting like, let's say we're an hour until we're there, like at the game. And if sometimes I'll do a walk back just to like see what's going on, right? Just to see like what the boys are doing, if they're pissing around or whatever. So just to have like a presence check. So I walk back there and most of them are just like on their phone. Like they're just buried on their phone, scrolling away and whatever. And I know just from looking into things to do with cell phones and like listening to other experts talk on it and stuff is like not the best thing to be locked into before you have to go play a hockey game. So I kind of give them reminders of like, hey guys, like try to, now's a good time. I'll usually say this on the bus and like, I'm not going to make you do it. Like you do whatever you want, but like now's a good time. If you've been on your phone the whole ride, like get off your phone for a little bit, like start thinking about the game and disconnect from that a little bit. So there's been some examples of that. Some examples were like, I walk into the room, which we're not allowed to have phones in the dressing rooms, but like somebody's got a phone. I got to kick them out of the room, right? And it just could cause problems for different reasons. But then there's the flip side because I think there is a lot of, I was saying this to you before we started, I think there's a lot of attention given to the negative impacts of having the phones. But at the same time, it's like I'm a big technology guy. Like I think technology is awesome. I like wearables. I like the internet. I like ChatGPT. I like AI. All that stuff is like, I think is so useful. So there's a positive and a negative to how it can be used if it's used properly. And at the same time, it's like as much as we like to criticize as being the adults, we struggle with it just as much as adults, number one. And number two, it's even worse for us because we're judging the younger kids without ever having to grow up with that, right? Like what's it like when you're 3 years old and you already have an iPad in your hand, like right away, right? I never had to deal with that. Like I was the transition generation, right? Like the first version of the iPhone came out when I was like in grade 10 or something like that, and let alone being able to access the internet at all times. Like that wasn't even a thing. I remember opening up my data on my flip phone, the first phone I had, and like freaking out that I was going on the internet because I thought I was going to have a bill that was $400 or something crazy, right? So it's just a different set of circumstances that these kids have to grow up with. And so I want to just talk a little bit about the positives and the negatives that where it could be useful or where it could be harmful, and just give like some pointers, I guess, to the players or the parents, or just maybe bring some of it to their attention that they haven't thought of before, because it's again, it could be a very useful tool or it could be something that's like super harmful. So start first, just again, as we usually do, just like general thoughts on the topic, like with cell phones, things you notice, things you see. And then I'll get into like some specific direction on the points that I want to kind of touch on.
Okay. So I'll say it this way. It's actually not about the cell phone. Okay. Well, it is about the cell phone, but it's not. What it is about is when someone has a cell phone in their hands and you're talking to them, you might as well not even talk. No. What I mean is like if my wife she works her ass off. Like she's working probably 7 a.m. to done at 8, 9 o'clock at night, and she's just constantly busy. So she does need to unwind, and even for us to connect, and just talk a little bit about decompressing and telling about each other's day and what happened and where we're at with certain things. It's actually hard because when she's done, she just wants to actually let her brain go, and she goes like this. And if I say, "Hey, or she'll ask me something, and I'll answer, and she'll be, "Oh, what's that?" Like totally gone. And I'm the same. I'm not saying she's dumb and I'm smart. I'm good looking, she's ugly. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that's the thing, and that's how I see the kids. It's not a negative thing necessarily. I'm not saying it in a negative way. I mean, just to pivot a little bit on this is my question, right? I was doing a leadership class with the group the other day, and I was actually sitting here, and this is why I was doing this. I said the girls program, because they're girls and I'm a boy. Actually, I'm an old man now, but there's different views, and my hockey experience and the boys' hockey experience are different. And right from day one, when I ask the girls in general, and I talk to the coach about this in general, where do you want to be with hockey? Like, because I'm asking in a way so that I can meet you somewhere. If you all say we want to have fun, I'll probably not be, no, not that we won't have fun, but that's a different type of coaching than we want to win and have fun. We want to win and learn. We want to win and develop. We want to win and be the best I can be. I want to be a college. I want to play in the PWHL, anything like that. Those answers were like pulling teeth. They just didn't want to do it. So like that was different. So when I speak to them, it's at a different level. Your team is I feel like I get them at the end of the those Tuesday mornings where it's like a little bit draining. It's good, but it's just there's a mix of a couple of the development kids too, like the younger guys, and I don't feel like it deliver the same message. And I feel like it's some of them are at the level. It's like, yeah, but I'm not going anywhere anyways. Where some of them are really dialed in. The U16s are the ones that I feel like I get the most bang for my buck out of that class. Okay. So, anyways, I told you that because I was looking for a subject because I'm kind of like, I don't want to speak just to speak. So I was looking at a subject and I said, you know what? I was thinking of books I just read. David and Goliath. David and Goliath. Going to talk about David and Goliath. So for the girls, because the other thing was I was going to explain to them in the talk at the end of the day is like, if everyone should know what David Goliath is, I would think. But at the end of the day, it's the small guy against the big guy, slaying giants, whatever. Okay. So I told them this in the beginning, and I said you can use it as your team, but use it as an individual you. But I said it's actually a really good concept to have that you're always David. You're never the giant that's just going to stomp on people's heads. You're always got to be prepared for the fight, and you're always the underdog. You always have a chip on your shoulder. It's like that's if you always have that attitude, like you're probably going to win a lot of shit. You're going to probably do well. But I also told him, I said, at the end of the day, every day is a fight. It might not be a fight, but the fight, like with the girls or our program or like anything we do, it's not to get the upper hand, but it's to get on the same page. So if you have a group of people like in the girls program, for example, where they come in and they're like, some of them you can see their eyes light up because they love this class. They talk and like a few of them really, really, really participate. They love it. Other ones that sit there like this with their hoodie on and just it looks like they're going to go to sleep and they don't want to be there. And that's fair. That's fine. My point to that is that I told them, I said, that's a fight. This is I'm David trying to get Goliath. I'm trying to get you on my side. I got to find tactics and things to get you on my page, not to win, but to so that we can win together. Yeah. So there's everything's a fight. Everything's a fight or a battle. Does that make sense? So that was a long way to say. I started each class with that, and I said, I'm going to tell you, I'm going to go over the story of David and Goliath because you probably don't know. You probably have a different version of what I have from this book I read. It's amazing. I assumed everybody knew, and I said, just in case, and that's how I said it, just in case, everybody knows the story of, or who doesn't know the story, or who knows the story of David and Goliath, thinking every hand would be up. Half? Maybe half. And it was a 40-60 in every class. And I said, what? 40-60? You don't know the story of David and Goliath? No. So my question is not about, I don't want to tell the David and Goliath story, although in this book, Malcolm Gladwell, it's called David and Goliath, he tells the story of David and Goliath and the advantages that David had that the Bible really wouldn't tell you unless you look deep into it. It's amazing. So basically, I'll give you not you, but anybody listening, the thing is that when you're a underdog, you have to find people's strengths or find their weaknesses and chip away at that. Find your strengths and use your strengths against their weaknesses. Just because someone's big and they appear to have all the advantage doesn't mean that they do, and you work through it, right? So if you're playing hockey, anything in life, you can actually look at it like that. So people don't know. So people don't know. Like half the class didn't know, and I'm like, really though? Like, and they truly, I said, guys, in the Bible. So it's not a religion class, by the way. It's a great story. No, like half, yeah, no, and it was a very like, yeah. So my question, as I came into here, told my wife, I told a couple of people that I'm close to that I can have these conversations with. I go, that would be the day that my son was in that class and didn't know that story. Not because it's religion. And what did I say to you? What do you talk about at home? What do you talk about? And I could see, like, remember I said that it was a one group of 2006, as I believe. No, yeah, no, it was a little earlier than that. But that the group, they're mutes. They don't speak. It's been a culture of that. But is that what it is at home? So I'm not sitting here. I didn't have the Bible when I told Charlie. Like, we would talk. All my kids.
Yeah. There's like lessons to learn.
So
things
Christine
to
goes,
teach.
let me call the other kids and make sure. I said, I promise you we talked about it. Because there's no chance in any part of my son's life where he wasn't an underdog or had a challenge and that story didn't come up. And I wouldn't have said, here's the story of David and Goliath. I would have said, hey, Charlie, you ever hear this story about David and Goliath? So this little shit, he was a shepherd guy. He had to fight this giant and give him a story. And then he asked a bunch of questions. And I said, like, do you ever think like that? You have those situations? And we talk as a family, as whatever. And I was shocked. So my point to that is, if we are so fixated on our phones, you're giving up all these precious things. The leadership, like just
like you mean like
skills
between the parents and the kids, like what
everything.
Yeah.
But if you come home and you're speaking, like, okay, like how many people are at the table and they've got their phone, kids, whatever, and they're clicking and they're not listening, or it's like they're eating in different places. Like my wife and I take a lot of pride in that we still do. One of all our kids, one of their favorite things is sitting around the table talking, and not just doing this stuff, right? Or and so that was my question. I go, like, if you don't know the story of David and Goliath and you lived in North America, or not North America, it's the world, but if you don't know that story, then what you had to talk about something somewhere. Right. That how did that not come up? Raising a kid, you know what I mean? Yeah. Being a coach, like okay, there's the other thing. As a coach, all these things come up as a coach. Like David and Goliath comes up. I remember, so true story. The one year that I coached Charlie, we were in the finals in Burlington. The Zamboni or the refs didn't show up. We had 2 hours to kill. So this is big Burlington. We're little Essex, Ontario. It's 9-year-old hockey. Had to kill some time. I tend to be a fairly motivating person, right? You know what I mean? But it's good. Like I that's what I loved about with the little kids. So let them kill some time, and we had an hour before the game, and I said, okay, before we get dressed, I'm going to tell you the story about David and Goliath. So this is when he was 9. So I told him the story, and I made it funny as hell, right? But like you guys are this little shepherd, and this is the big Goliath giant. I said, we're going to smack him. But that's not good enough to say we're going to smack him and get motivated. I said, tell me why we're going to beat the giant. So, coach, I know. Why? Because we got the best coach. All right. So I took the white marker and I put it on the black marker on the erasable, obviously. Maybe not. Best coach. I said, that's a great answer. If you get the best coach, we can beat these guys. Why? Because you're going to be smarter than their coach. Yeah. What else? Because we work hard. Hardest working team. And we filled it up. We filled up a whole wall of reasons why. We have the best breakout. We got the best power. We got the guy with the best shot. And it went on and on and on. I said, you guys think we can't win this? Right? And they went out and smoked this team. But they all got the story. But that's like conversation. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I get it.
So segueing, I'm sorry to steal your freaking thunder here. Now we talk about phones, and that seems like from the negative side of it gets away. But if you choose, like as a mom and dad, that's why I always threw, here's a book on the table, a book here, a book there, short little books, make your bed, Jocko's books, right? The Way of the Warrior Kid, all these different things growing up. He read this stuff.
Yeah.
Just a chapter.
Yeah, for sure. I think the thing for me that I noticed, I remember even this from back when we were doing the treadmill and stuff like that, is you'd see like kids come in and like the parents would sit there and just be like this the whole time on the phone too. Like they're not engaged with the thing that their kid is doing at all. And that was something I noticed as phones started to become more and more of a thing too. And like that's part of my point from that I was saying before you went on a tear there. There's like it starts with the parents at the top there too, right? So it's for them. it's important, man, because it always starts at the top. It always starts at the top. And I think that kind of sets the tone for like what I'm talking about with it can be a useful tool, but it takes some guidance for the kids, right? They need to have some guidance. And if you are not guided yourself as the parent dealing with the phone, then how are you going to pass on any lessons? And then you skip over, like to your point, you skip over so many things that you can learn and so many teachable moments just because of the distraction. You know what I mean? So
but like one of the things, like on a positive note with the phones, is like that's what I used a lot of it for. I'm not the perfect person. Like just because we're sitting here doing a podcast, not because I do everything right. Yeah. I'm just saying this is what was very helpful to me. But I am a motivated person, and I ran a business, and I've done things very hard. Yeah. So it's not like my life's been a cakewalk. I've had to figure it out, right? Yeah. And that's where this comes from. And I deal with kids and people all the time that ask for advice and. But this is what I use that a lot for. Like, so maybe you're a dad or a mom that like you're an introvert and you don't really speak that much, but you got to give something. So like it could be, hey, Eric, you ever see this Rocky thing? What do you mean, Rocky? It's like look how many times he got hit up and he keeps getting up. Like that's kind of cool. And you could talk and watch that. Charlie memorized the Rocky. Now how many times you get knocked down, how many times you get up. He knew that speech when he was 7.
All right, that used to be my that was like my alarm at the time.
Yeah.
I could set
Isn't
it
it
to
awesome?
I could set it to audio.
So good. This is a good technology. Like you can do that kind of stuff, right? So anyways, throwing it back to you.
No, that's good because it sets the stage. So I'm going to walk through like some of just because we're going on, like we started with more of the negative side. So we'll do that and then we'll finish on some of the positive things that can make it a tool. So the big first one, and like I cannot tell you how many times I have to talk to kids about this, is how much it destroys your sleep. If you're on your phone to the second you close your eyes or you look at the phone until you just happen to fall asleep because you can't take it anymore, like having a bad pre-sleep routine because you're on your phone all the time is like one of the worst things that you can do that negatively impacts your sleep. So a cool thing for us is so many of our guys have the Whoop now, like guys on my team, and now we're all in a group together and you can see what other guys are doing, like who's sleeping, what time they go to sleep, how much sleep they got, and it like gamified it a little bit, which I think is cool. And I think that's resonating with some of them for sure. And that it doesn't mean, like, to your point, just because we sit and talk on the mics doesn't mean we're perfect and we do everything perfect. It's just trying to have the best habits you can have and constantly improve. Like that's what the goal is. So for these guys, I talk to them about, okay, what time do you want to go to bed? And the answer isn't, hey, you have to go to bed at 8 p.m. and not look at your phone for the 4 hours before that and wear blue light glasses and all of this like crazy shit.
Have a hot sauna before you go to bed.
Yeah, right. So like we were talking on the bus actually on the way home about this the one day, and they were asking me about nutrition stuff as well. But we got into the sleep conversation, and I was just saying like, okay, so like what time do you guys think it's reasonable to go to bed? And they were like, well, I don't know, like 9. And they're like saying things that they want me to, they think I want to hear.
The right answer.
And I'm just like, okay, does that actually make sense? Like what time do you actually think is a good time to go to bed and why? Like what's the reason? So I was explaining to them, I'm like, okay, let's say you play junior next year. What time is your game usually going to be at? 7:30 is like the standard game time. Okay, so if you normally go to bed at 9 o'clock, don't you think your body's probably going to be gearing down for sleep when you should be gearing up for your game? They're like, oh, like, I didn't really think of that. Okay, so then going to bed at 8 or 9 actually doesn't make sense on a regular basis if you want to get in rhythm. Maybe going to bed at 11 makes sense, right? Because your game's done at 10, gets you an hour to get home, eat something, go to sleep on average, whatever. And then there'll be times you play junior where it's not that because you have the bus ride and all that shit you got to deal with. But in terms of a regular interval, that's probably a good time. Now, if you're on your phone till the second you go to bed, first of all, there's like the blue light argument of like you just have the light in your eyes that keeps you more awake, which that's one thing. But more than that, it seems
get tired eyes too, eh?
You do. Well, I noticed like even just being on my screen here for a long time, you get that low level anxiety about like
twitchy.
Yeah, right. Just from not like, I don't know, not getting natural light. Like, I don't know. Right. So there's reasons for these things that are beyond my pay grade, but the bottom line is it's not good to be that overstimulated all the time, like all the time. And so, I was talking to Woody the one day about just like the concept of just hard work in general. And he was talking to me about like, I feel like I want to do more. I want to make sure I'm not like leaving any, anything on
any stone,
anything on the, right.
Unturned.
Right.
Yeah.
So, but I said to him, I was like, okay, but like part of your hard work is the discipline to stop, right? Like that's actually hard work. Like like putting your phone down is hard. That's actually hard work. Staying committed to that.
Back-checking. Yeah. Trying to jump into the D zone. Hard work is just having the patience not to.
Yeah, right. So like it's hard to use your brain all the time and be productive. Like, and that's the key is you want to be productive. It's not just about gas pedal 100% of the time. Like sometimes you don't want to do that, you know? So I was using that as the example with the phones of just like, it is hard to get off. It's actually really hard, you know? And you see things that affect your mood. It affects your emotions. It affects so much about you. So if you can get away with it and replace it with something else, that is where you're actually going to take out that negative thing that's detrimental to your ability to perform, right? So the thing I always say to them is read. A lot of guys say, I don't like to read. It's like, okay, then find something you like to read because you'll like to read if you like what you're reading, right? So find a different habit, right? Find a different habit. And maybe it's not 3 hours before you go to bed. Maybe it's half an hour. Maybe you're going to give yourself 30 minutes before you go to sleep without being on your phone. Like that's a huge thing, right? That's a huge thing.
Crazy, like just maybe it's the old school me, but we have someone that's so impressed with this kid. He reads, has a nutrition log. Like it might be actually overkill, but for his age, but it's like, it's good to see him dialed in. But he said the exact words that I use is read 10 to 15 minutes a night. And he does it. It's like he's read some books. Like it's not like he's full of shit. He read some books that I've read and stuff like that. And so I suggested something. He goes, okay, yeah, I like that. And it's so refreshing to hear. But as far as the reading goes, it's not like a major task like people think it is. Like we're not reading, like operator's guide for a Buick Encore. It's a little more exciting than that, right? Like if you pick a subject or any book, just grab any book but as an athlete or whatever, something that makes sense. But read one page, just one page. Try to stop at one page, just one page. It's going to take you diddly shit to do that.
Well, I try to like give them the example. I always use this example of like, I think I've said it on like past episodes too. Of like, if you're at a restaurant and you're reading the menu, like, do you hate reading?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, do you hate that right now?
You're reading just to say, just tell me what's on the menu.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't have the time for reading.
100%. So it's not that you hate the reading. It's like you don't like what you're reading. So like try to find something that you like to read and then you'll like to read it. You know what I mean? That's engaging.
Guacamole.
Yeah. So that was my first negative one. Second one was the social media comparison thing. And this you can do without your phone, but it's even worse on your phone because you flip through and you see the, kid your age, 18 years old and has a Lamborghini, or you see the hockey player that is off doing whatever that already got a commitment to a school or
doing this training.
Yeah,
that's the secret.
Yeah, I get to work with Gary Roberts. He gets to do this. He has a nutrition thing. He has this, right? She has that. This college is already talking to her. They get the interviews. They get all this stuff. And like you're comparing yourself constantly because that's what keeps getting fed. And then the more you watch, the more you get fed. That's the algorithm, right? You notice this too. Like if any of you guys want to do this comparison, if you go on like Instagram or TikTok or whatever, and you click any topic, like whatever the topic is, watch 2 videos about that thing, and then go to your search page or your For You page. And like automatically it'll be populated with the thing. So I got on this thread where I got hooked in on my algorithm to watching people mine for gold, like physical gold, which like I think is so fascinating, like when they're digging out of the ground. And I noticed a video popped up. I don't even know how the first one happened. Video popped up and I watched it, and it was guys doing I forget what you call
panhandling.
it. Yeah, panhandling, exactly. Right. And I'm like, oh, that's kind of cool, whatever. And then the next thing, it was like there was gold bars, and I'm looking, I'm like, man, that's sick. Like having a huge mountain of gold, actual gold is cool. Then all of a sudden I go to my search page and it's like every 4th video is something to do with gold, And so then you'll keep getting fed that. So if you watch whatever it is you're watching, that can be used again. There's a flip side where that could be a positive or a negative, but it can keep looping you into a negative cycle if what you're doing is comparing yourself constantly to what other people are doing all the time, right? And that's why it's nice to just be able to take a break, because it's going to come with that. Again, for me, I noticed this with myself. I'm on the screen for a long time. Even if it's not something that's negative per se, like I'm watching something that is negative for me, comparing myself to somebody or whatever, I still get that low level little hum in the back of my head. I can feel it in my chest after a while of that anxiety just about nothing, you know? And then on top, you layer on top of that, like, you know, watch other 31-year-old billionaires that are doing whatever, or they're
How'd you screw up so bad?
right? Or I'm watching guys like that play in the NHL, like one of the biggest heartbreaks of my life, right? And I'm watching, I'm like, guys my age are like retiring, right? Are getting close to retiring from their career in the NHL, you know? And so like constantly looking at that, I just think about myself like, man, what a bum. Like that was the thing that I wanted to do and I didn't do it. You know, I failed. Like I'm a failure now. And like for these kids that don't have the same level of maturity as a grown adult to be constantly hit with stuff like that, it's super challenging. And parents talk to me about that kind of stuff all the time, right?
Problem with the like with the I don't get this part. Like, yes, we are on social media, and I am so freaking reluctant. I wish my face was not on any type of media. I mean that. I don't like it. I don't like anything about social media. Personally, that's just my own personal thing. I don't want people to know anything about my life, but I chose a business that got turned into this. That I guess it's important or whatever. I don't really care I don't want people to know my thoughts and whatever. Um, I don't understand the selfie. I don't understand people doing it. I just don't get it. I don't understand. But I can tell you this, that when you start posting all your different parts of your life out there, I know that a lot of people feel like that is the way that you get engaged socially, that you get accepted by people, right? Because you get likes, right? Likes and friends that aren't your friends because they're called friends, right? But they don't care. They don't care about you. Not one like the people that I have followed, like on some of our stuff. It's like some of the stuff it might be interesting or it's not, but it's like I don't actually care about you. I find it maybe so. That's the thing I wish kids would understand is like the more that you throw yourself out there, as far as going social media, it's like people don't actually care about you. And then like I was saying to the kids the one day about phones, I'm like you when you're young, like, this is why think about what you're doing because it doesn't go away, right? The anything on that phone doesn't go away. So if you think like people think they're cool, you've probably seen yourself do it. I did it because I didn't know. I thought at some point like okay, everybody, this is how I didn't know what Facebook was. I saw it one day. I'm like, this is incredible. I could that person I knew that and I got in that rabbit hole like a long time ago, and I'm like, this is crazy, and then it drove me nuts. But what we'll post a picture of something. It's like, hey, here, me and my wife, me and my kid, whatever. It's like, who cares? But it doesn't go away. But there's so many people that have posted something where you thought you were cool. Let's just say you're chugging a beer or whatever, right, with your buddies, shirt off, and you do one of these, just one. Doesn't go away. You can erase it, but it doesn't go away. And what you thought was like so cool, you look at it in 5 years, 10 years, 2 months, whatever, and go, oh my God, that was so not cool. Right.
Well,
but it doesn't leave.
That literally goes right to my next one is having like the discipline to not get sucked into that stuff and not get in trouble, which is exactly to your point. Like, so I remember maybe it was 2 or 3 years ago now. One of the kids we were training, I came across him he was on Instagram, and his first picture was him flipping the bird. Right. And so I texted the kid. So he was I don't remember if he was in his draft year. I think he was in his draft year, like currently going through the draft. And he was a hockey player kid, like cared about getting drafted, all that stuff. And I just said, hey, I just sent him a text. I'm like, hey, just like so you know, I can see this, right? Now, I'm just your trainer at the time, but if I can see it, other people can see it. It's not hard to find. So if I'm a OHL team and I want to go look up just what the type of person you are, things you do, I'm going to look up your social media. We do that all the time.
Well,
right?
don't even. Well, yeah, exactly. So don't even think if we want to, we will. That's like when Charlie was drafted to Guelph. George Burnett's maybe his first or second question was, "Can I have your Instagram? Are you on these things? And can I have your handles?" Yeah. And then he was like, "Do you have anything you got to worry about?" No. Sure. Yep. no worries. Some kids would be like, didn't think about that part, eh?
Yeah.
And go ahead.
No, go finish your thought.
And yeah, it can sewer you, man. It's there.
Well, even like, so now all the kids use Snapchat, right? Like nobody texts. They all use Snapchat for texting. Like there's no like direct texting. And like, so it's a messaging thing where the messages disappear, right? They don't disappear, right? So even that, the things you're saying in writing, the voice notes that you send, the photos that you send, the things you take pictures of, like all that stuff is can be like high risk behavior because it just takes somebody to screenshot it. It just takes somebody to, you think you're playing a joke and it's too far or it's over the line or it's interpreted the wrong way or whatever. And then all of a sudden you're suing yourself because you think you're making a joke. Right. And that's something that we have that talk every year with like for our teams. It's just like, you need to be aware of what you're doing online because it won't go away. There will be record of it. It's going to get you in trouble. And like every year, there's at least one instance where it's like something with the cell phones causes a problem, you know? And so you have to be careful with that part of it as well. Even if you just think you're with your buddies, you're just in a group chat with your friends, you're just this, that, this is a joke. It doesn't matter, man. It doesn't matter because it won't go away and that stuff is trackable, you know? So you got to be careful with, you can't just, it's not like you're doing something stupid with your buddies in real life. And if you get away with it, it's gone forever, right? That's not how it works anymore. Now it's like you do things online and there's a record of everything all the time.
Well,
you know?
but you would assume most adults would know this too, but I'm starting to believe more and more that they don't. But like if you apply for a job, like when I own my business or someone wants to apply here, like I don't even care if I meet you. I don't even care because before we meet, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to say Eric Palazzolo on one of the networks, and I'm going to see, okay, there's nothing there. So he's either a wiener or he's got nothing to say or he's smart. Yeah. Or he's hiding something. But that's okay. But less is more. Yeah. More is less. Or if it's pictures of every part of your life or seeing stuff that you go, oh my God, the guy likes to drink or this, that. Well, you know, it's like you're painting a picture. So like, it's the first thing, if I do it, like I'm not the smartest guy in the world. I'm not the dumbest, right? If I do that every single time, then everybody does it. So like when you think that posting stuff, like you just want to be cool, like it could be an adult. Like I'm a 57-year-old man this next month, and I hope this doesn't happen, but if I lost this job with BioSteel, which I love, so don't. But if I lost this job and had to go find work, which I would have to, I'm pretty confident that my social media wouldn't sewer me because there's really nothing there. But if I was like for the last few years because I was cool and let's say I was out with some of my hockey buddies at a party and we just like doing it, throwing a dart in, and just because I'm cool, look at the company I keep, and then all of a sudden when I'm not cool anymore and I need to be normal, oh, you're a beauty, aren't you?
Yeah,
right.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing too is that one of the worst or maybe one of the biggest disservices we do with kids is give them the message of like you shouldn't care what people think. Like I think that is such a imprecise way of delivering the message because like what other people think is actually very important for you to get opportunities. It just matters which people we're talking about, right? Does it matter what like the loser cool kids at school think of you? Probably not, right? But does it matter what the general manager of the OHL teams think of you? That actually does matter. Does it matter what a future employer thinks of you or your professors at school or whatever? There are people where it does matter what they think of you, you know? And so to say it that way, where it's like, you know, the implication being like, do you all the time and it's fine because what people think doesn't matter. It's like not true, you know? So it matters the way that you're behaving and what you're showing of yourself on the phone. And that kind of leads me into maybe my last one, I guess two. One is like how that can affect your relationships with the people on your team. So whether it's just being on the phone, kind of how you're saying, like trying to interact with people. If they have, whether it's your coach or a teammate or whatever, if you have no attention span, right, which it can affect your coachability basically. Like if I can't talk to you and you can't retain the information or you can't pay attention to me long enough to receive a message, that's negative. But then the quality of your relationships, even with your teammates, like one of the, I guess, the main thing that most people that go through competitive sports would say is they love the dressing room. You know, they love the boys, they love the team, they love the environment, they love that's the thing. It's not like I miss practice. It's like I miss the boys, like I miss, right? And so to create some depth with those relationships, if you're constantly being sucked away by this thing that doesn't matter, like, man, being on the bus playing euchre at the back of the bus was like one of the best things ever. Like going to games, playing cards, like that was like getting to know my buddies and like learning about each other's lives and getting integrated into how we're going to grow together into being adults. Like that's so impactful on your life. And if you're just like reserved in your own little seat all the time, not paying attention or not engaging, then you're missing out on so much quality that you could have in your life. So, and that's like that's kind of the last like biggest negative thing is like you don't have real conversations anymore about anything, you know?
Our bus rides have been, you know what, it's probably where I formed, like with Paul DiPietro, who's one of my best friends, and he sat behind me on the bus. Like, I was a vet for those last 2 years, but he sat behind me because that's where I wanted to sit. So I'm just pulling rank here. But we had a group of four, and like the four that sat like beside each other in the four, but then about 8 other guys that always we'd get gather in these few chairs. I could pull out jokes and lines and stories for probably 3 hours straight, just going off the top of my head and remembering their faces. And I could tell you story after story. But if we would have had phones, I would have said, just a second, I got
Clash of Clans to play.
Yeah, whatever it is, right? Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So these are just like a couple of things that I wrote down about that. It's just, if you're constantly stimulated, it's hard to listen. And I noticed that trying to talk to some of the kids. It's like hard for them to listen and like focus their attention for a period of time, for sure. Which means you're going to struggle if you have, video, things that maybe require like the hard work of trying to focus and pay attention to learn. Like you're going to struggle there. And then if you don't have the ability to tolerate like almost being bored. Like you don't have the ability to just like sit and deal with it and like still have a focused type of demeanor towards what's happening. Because I think this all the time with us. Like if we do a half-hour video session, so many kids are checking out, totally checking out. But that's good shit, right? A lot of that is good shit. So if you can hang in there and try to be focused long enough to pull stuff out, it's only going to benefit you. And if you're constantly in the habit of getting sucked away by this and that and the other thing, it's really hard to direct your attention. And then in terms of the team culture stuff, not having real conversations, if you lose out on all those bonding moments that you're talking about, distraction before your games where you're losing focus because maybe you're Snapchatting your girlfriend, maybe it's your For You page making you think of other stuff, maybe it's you're playing this game and you haven't mentally prepared to get into the mindset of the good habits you need to play well. Like those types of things are all going to be negative impacts. So those are just a few. And like, I'm sure I know there's a lot more of things that we could go into, but just don't want to beat the points of the negative to death. I think people know it can be negative, but just if you haven't thought about those things, hopefully that draws some attention to it. So now flipping to the positive side again. And like a lot of this stuff we can run through it like pretty quick, but there is the positive side to it. So for me, the first thing that I think is the best thing about phones and all that stuff is you have access to the highest end knowledge possible at all times for free. And so now if you're a kid, like when I was a kid, for example, I was very serious about working out and I trained incorrectly for probably the first 4 years of my serious training.
Incorrectly for a hockey player.
Yeah, for a hockey player, right? I worked really hard. I was very consistent.
Strong as hell.
But I wasn't training to be the best I could be in my sport. It wasn't optimized for that. It was just optimized for working out, right? And trying to get bigger muscles and get stronger. That's all it was. And so had I had access to what's available now, I would have been the type of kid that tried to put together a critical workout plan and learned more about what I needed to be doing. And now kids have that. So you can use your phone, you can use your tablet, you can use the internet, laptop, whatever, to figure out nutrition, figure out your workouts, figure out anything to do with recovery. Even like just video on other players, like watching just specifically hockey things, getting good motivational stuff or things that are going to inspire you. Like that stuff is all now super accessible. So anything on that from your end?
No, I mean, that's 100%. Like the information you have it's there. It's just you don't want to get lost. And now I just find it takes the hardest part about that is having the patience to sift through and read something or take the time because everything's in a rush, right? Yeah. But no, it's the best. Like you can learn. It doesn't even have to be perfect. The information you have is there. Like it's there so readily.
Yeah, you can skip so many steps.
You can hear exercise. Like maybe you're talking to someone and they say, "We need you to work your whatever piriformis. Got to stretch that out." Okay, and then you could just say it in the phone and it'll find out what that is. How do I work it? And you could get some information. You don't have to, like, it's amazing.
Yeah, a lot of steps that you can skip for sure. The second is like the personal branding exposure stuff. Now, I think based on what we do with BioSteel, like with the docuseries and stuff like that, I'm seeing where that can be valuable. I think that'll be increasingly valuable over time, especially as for at least in hockey, just because that's what we work with. Like it gets more and more competitive, the younger and younger. Every year, it seems like younger and younger, it's more and more competitive. And I think that can actually give you an edge if, for example...
what do you mean by younger and younger gets more competitive? In what way?
Like the seriousness to be able to make a step forward is just like, it's crazy. And now there's open borders now. So that's a new thing where it's like now when you're in U12 or U13 or whatever, it's like you can go wherever you want now and like teams are going to recruit and all that stuff. And it's like, wow, that was never a thing, you know? So something to put a positive spin on that, I'm looking at, all these kids that we have that do interviews talking about the program and what they're doing. And that's up on social media. And it's like, wow, like that's a mature kid, wow, that's like a well-spoken kid. Well, that kid, he can actually have a serious conversation. He can there's positives that can come from showing.
Learn how to get in front of a camera, learn how to talk to someone, not embarrassed to be on a docu-series, all these different things for sure.
So like on the one hand, you can say, hey, yeah, you're posting all this stuff about you. Like you got to be careful about that. On the other hand, you could use that to be actually a positive outlook on your character as an individual. And then now even with the NCAA, like you can get paid for stuff like that and NIL money and all that kind of stuff. Like those are things that can happen as you get a little bit older. So that's a thing that's important. And then the ability to communicate with whether it's your team and coaches or even other teams, other coaches, recruiters, stuff like that, like between Instat and then Instagram and email and all these different things that kids now are in the mix of already. Like when I was a kid, I didn't fucking email. When I was like 17, it's like I wasn't emailing anybody. These kids are like, oh, I've sent 50 emails out already to schools, stuff like that. I'm like, that was not accessible. You can go on College Hockey Inc. and get every single Division I coach and their email. Every single one of them are on there. It's incredible, right? So the level of like connectivity, the video stuff, like even like we didn't even have between Instat, Live Barn, like all this stuff. We didn't have any of this stuff when I was playing. I remember watching like when I was playing junior, the Strathroy team used to do video. And they would sit behind one of the nets and they had it wasn't an iPad yet. So whatever their thing was to take the video. And I remember watching it like this grainy, shitty angle through the mesh video. But I was fired up, but we had video. I was like, oh my God, like our game's on video. Like that's crazy. That's so cool, But we didn't have that. Like that was not a thing. And now you have these things that can keep you connected and for whether it's self-promotion or it's just to learn. It's like you have all of these things that online can keep you connected with the hockey world, whether it's coaches or schools or your teammates or whatever. So that's
the other thing that I would say you use it for too is find out who your heroes are, who you want to be like, right? Never in history have you ever, I would have loved to, listen to Wayne Gretzky talk or Mark Messier talk all the time. Now you can do it. You can go and find interviews. You can find workouts. You can follow them. Like you can actually be close. You can just put your favorite people on and just absorb their brains, right?
Yeah. And like that's one thing I would say even is like my biggest mentors now are people I've never met. They have no idea who I am. They've like not a clue. And the amount that I've learned off these different people is crazy. And for these kids to be able to do that through social media, using their phones, like at all times, you can access whoever to hear what they have to say about things that you care about. It's kind of crazy. And then I think like from the you talk a lot about the negative mental health side of phones. There's a lot of positive that could be taken from that as well. So I had another guy on my team. He sent me a video yesterday. He texted it to me. it was one of the old school motivational speaker guys. I don't know if it's like Zig Ziglar or like somebody like that. And it was just talking about you are who you hang out with, basically. It was like, so this kid sent me the video. So he came across this video somewhere on social media and thought, hey, this is good shit. Like, I'm going to send it to coach, because we've had conversations about stuff like that in the past, right? And I'm looking at it, I'm like, wow, that's amazing. Like, you can just have that pop into your face, right? You're flipping through whatever you're flipping through, and then Zig Ziglar comes up and just says something that fires you up or makes you like a good message. So like, there's a positive mental health aspect that can be tapped into if you choose to tap into that, right?
I know that my wife has, I don't know if it comes up, she has something on paper. I think she gets something every day. It was like a morning message. It's not bad. It's not bad. You wake up to, you handsome devil or whatever,
Yeah.
right? Like whatever,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, whatever it is. And there's so many different things that could work for you. Maybe you're a positive affirmation person where it's like that resonates with you. Maybe it's prayer if you're a religious person and you want like something like that to start your day is good, and you just get like a positive reminder. It's like you can set these things up using social media, using your phone to be a positive input rather than a negative input, right? And then my last one is just the ability to review, whether it's film, video, stuff like that, and self-assessment. So like, even like there's some things like I come across sometimes on social media too, of like hockey psychology or like breakdowns of different plays. And like some of it's fluffy and nothing, but if you're like a 14, a 15, a 13-year-old, a 16-year-old, and what's showing up every day is a breakdown of like a rush or a breakdown of it's like that's a way better input than something else, And so you could spend your time on that. You could spend your time on your own video. You can spend your time, like there's U12 teams on Instat, dude. Like I go on and literally like little kids, every single shift they've ever skated is broken down that they can watch and learn from. So like the correction loop is such a tighter timeline for developing, like you can learn so much, again, positive and negative, right? But this is on the positive side, is like you can skip so much of the learning curve by tapping into some of those tools that you have every day just for free, right? It costs you $0, nothing that you need to pay for.
You are who you hang out with. Part of that is what you listen to. That's who if you read books, you're hanging out with books, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Doesn't make you a book. Makes you, what's inside the book is what's very valuable, right? If you read How to Win Friends and Influence People, and then another people book, and how to sell, and this, that, the other thing, you become that philosophy. That those are your friends. That's what I said when my years where I was done hockey and I had to figure my life out. That's what it was for me. It was the books and cassettes, just listening to you can do this, think about this. Like it was actually just taking my brain and shrinking it into a real narrow zone to make me like actually achieve something, because I was freaking gone. Not like strung out on anything, just like, what do I do? And what's my passion? I'm a passion guy, No, but I'm a passion guy, right? Like, so life doesn't make sense to me if I'm not excited about it and passionate about it. I'll do things that are necessary to get there, but for me, it's passion. Like, that's why the things that I do, it's never a bad day for me. Never have a bad day because I'm passionate about my stuff. But that took a few years of saying, okay, this is what you like, this is what you're good at, self-assess, all these things. For me, it was books. And now you can use the tool of like internet and all these things, keeping notes on your phone, right? Don't forget things, like, anyways,
yeah, no, so
I could talk all day, right?
Yeah. Me too. So I think I wanted to close with the positive stuff too, though, because like I said at the start, there's a lot of content that I see about the negative stuff, which 100%, like, you want to pay attention to the negative stuff, but I think you should be putting equal time into how you can use these things to benefit you, and like the amount of information that I've got the equivalent of a university education on strength and conditioning and nutrition through podcasts.
Dude, you've done
like
great,
right? Like, realistically, like when I talk to people that have been through full undergraduate programs, master's programs in strength and conditioning nutrition, and I 100% can hang in the conversation about what's going on, right?
The great thing about it, though, you can hang, but it's not, this is the great thing. You can hang with them and have conversations, and there might be certain things where obviously there's certain things where someone just knows more about certain things, right? Like it might be the deep knowledge of something, but the practical knowledge that you you have.
Yeah.
You've done it. You know it's like, okay, if this happens, yeah, but it feels weird or it feels like this. You've done the nutrition. You practice the thing. That's a big difference. And you have your common sense. Like you know how to deal with people. Like everything around it makes it that much better. Yeah, you were a fantastic trainer. My son and the people that were able to work out with you, like it's one of the things that thanks to you, my son doesn't breathe heavy, basically ever.
Yeah. I beat that into him.
Right?
Yeah.
He does not get tired. That took time, but and understanding, like you understood the principles of it. Because of you, you made a great atmosphere though, but he was able to approach you. He was able to get coached by you, listen to you. You were your friend, but you were also a boss to him. He wouldn't take his excuses, not that he had many, but you were like there for him so much, but you taught him the proper way to work out and why. You took the time. Like that's the other thing. If they had a question, you could explain. You could figure out, okay, that doesn't work. I get this because I've done it. It's been incredible. Yeah. So long way to say, yeah, you got a university degree in that without going to university for that.
Yeah. Thank you for the compliment. But
no, dude.
It's not about. I don't mean to say that as like yay me. It's just you can do those things. Like you can accomplish that stuff by just it was just about using my resources. It was reading books, podcasts, YouTube. Like that was where I learned how to do these things and actually the right way, not just like made up garage gym style. Like or like it was actually evidence-based, science-based, research-based, because it's all free. It's all I could just go there and listen to it, right? And try it and then see what happened and tweak. And you can do that with anything. It doesn't matter how old you are or what the field is, it's all there.
Like we always say, success leaves clues. Success leaves clues. So if you want to go like really and truly, I've always said this, like, and I know it's controversial to some people, but to me, high school was never important for my kid. Like, I don't care if you could do well or not. Like, I don't want you to be a dick. I don't want you to be disrespectful. You have to go for some reason. But for me, I'm not saying for you, I'm saying for me, I never found it important. Well, how can you say that? It's the most important. No, not really. Because you're taking art. He doesn't want to know one thing about art. This, that, and the other thing, like a bunch of these filler programs. So we could probably shrink it down into like a lot shorter period. Okay, eliminate that. Who's teaching?
Yeah. Seriously,
most of the people that were teaching at the schools that I went to, I never wanted to be anything like them, nor would I ever want to now. So because the success was not there. So you're telling me I need to do this, this, and this way. Like when you drive a green piece of shit car, live in a shit house, and you got the same shirt on all week. You don't have any social cues. Your breath smells like smoke and coffee, right? Like I don't think I'm going to take one piece of information from you, but I can go like I want to learn about fitness. I can skip all this other shit, and I can go to Gary Roberts' school of, I can learn from the best trainers who I like, who I connect with, and they've done it. Like, you can eliminate a lot of that shit and get to the real source.
Yeah. Well, that's I think the parting words is like not ending on the negative is like it can be such a useful tool. So do it. But I do want people to keep in mind like a lot of that negative stuff, because I feel like before you can get to the positive parts of it, you have to get over the negative parts first. I think the negative parts come first. It's like you're just overwhelmed by inputs. So get that under control and then try to move on to some of those positive things that we pointed out. So I hope that's kind of helpful. Hope that's kind of helpful. So I'll leave it there and see you guys next week.